Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a buying guide of Louis Vuitton fragrances. Little top 10. This is one of my absolutely most requested videos. I get so many questions about Louis Vuitton fragrances. They are so hyped right now. Everyone wants them, everyone wants to try them. Of course, very prestigious Louis Vuitton, very high-end designer, but with very, very crazy price tags. We're talking anywhere from $320 upwards to like $750. I actually think they have a collection that's like $1,500 a bottle. It is no joke, not for the faint of heart and definitely not for the light of wallet. So today we're going to be talking about some of the most popular and if I think they're worth the money or not. And I do want to say the one thing that I do really appreciate about Louis Vuitton is that they are not skimping on the samples. Do not feel bad about going in there and asking for samples. These are so expensive. You definitely want to try them before you buy any of them. The sales associates are generally very nice, and if you ask for samples, they will give you a nice little case with the samples that you request. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We're gonna start with probably the #1 most hyped up fragrance of the summer. Of course, we're talking about Imagination. It's the fragrance that everyone is talking about. This one is actually part of their masculine targeted collection, but it is perfectly unisex. I have no idea why they would say that this is masculine because it's definitely not. It's a very citrusy, slightly spicy tea scent with notes of citron, bergamot, Sicilian orange, neroli, ginger, cinnamon, black tea, and Broxton, guaiac wood, and olibanum. It is really good. It definitely has this very intense, like invigorating feeling when you first smell it. Like a freshly squeezed lemon and orange. Kind of pulpy in a way, but the floral aspect behind those citruses is not far behind. You definitely get a lot of this very kind of natural, elegant neroli. It's a very, very classy flower. And at the same time, this has like this kind of clean linen, not necessarily soapy laundry, maybe just a tiny bit, but really what you're going to get is this beautiful black tea. And in a way, because of that, it's very calming and soothing, like kind of a meditative scent in a way. It's interesting how it has that contrast where it's very invigorating, very like uplifting, but at the same time, it's gonna feel very calming and soothing. It has ginger, but it's not crazy spicy. You're not gonna get a lot of spice with this. It's kind of like a creamy undertone of spice. There is a very nice kind of subtle, sparkling sweetness in this as well. It's simple, but really, really good. It's the perfect summer, like daily wear, elevated, clean and fresh scent. All occasions, you could wear this anytime, any place, and for everyone. Completely unisex, like I said. Classic meets modern. It is so good. It's $320, but in my opinion, it's worth it, obviously, because I bought a bottle of it. And the Ambroxan in this is a very high quality Ambroxan. It doesn't feel like the Ambroxan that you will find in a lot of just normal designer fragrances. It's a very high quality Ambroxan and very good. Definitely one to put on your list to try out for this summer. So the second fragrance that I have is my heart and soul from Louis Vuitton. We have Attrape-Reves. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And if you guys can't tell from my voice, I'm a little under the weather. So I'm sorry if it's a little distracting, but I just wanted to get this video out because I've been talking about doing it for so long. This is going to be a very fresh, floral, powdery rose scent. I actually featured this recently over on my feminine channel, Florida Erica, on the best like luxurious rose scents for a woman. This is very new age as well. There's nothing like grandma about this. It's very young and youthful, a beautiful Turkish rose fragrance with a very juicy, juicy sweet lychee. I don't know if we did an atomizer test or not. It's pretty good. Big fat spray, we love to see it. So this is mixed with ginger, bergamot. It has a really nice cacao note, which I think that mixed with the peony, there is peony in this as well, That's what kind of gives it that powdery aspect. But what the cacao does in this is it kind of gives it this almost kind of like chocolate dusting, like a cacao dusting on top. And it's really, really nice. It's not very sweet. Like, this is a sweet scent, but it's not over the top like a chocolatey fragrance at all. It's just like, it adds this kind of powdery dusting on top. And all of that sweetness is going to be coming from the lychee and the rose as well. You're gonna get a little bit of patchouli as well. Kind of gives it a little green, spicy aspect. It's very elegant and very luxurious. It smells very bougie, very beautiful. Definitely, definitely feminine leaning. But a guy could wear this if he really likes rose, like a sweet rose. Very well put together, very well blended. You can just tell that it's a luxury perfume, even just in the air. It smells expensive, which is why I think for this one, the price tag is justified. And on top of it, it really performs. If you're a guy watching and you're looking for a gift for a woman in your life, she will be very, very happy to get Attrape-Reves. It's better than Delina, in my opinion. It is gorgeous. It's like cozy, warming, but very sensual and mysterious, like sexy. This is a very sexy scent for a woman, Attrape-Reves. So now we're gonna move on to the samples that I have. First up, we're talking about Pacific Chill, which is their newest release that came out last year. And this is going to be a fresher scent with some fruity notes. I get a lot of questions about this one. Okay, the notes in here, we have black currant and lemon with citron, coriander, basil, and carrot seeds. So this opens very unique for a fresh scent. I will say that. You definitely get this very thick black currant, almost a little bit syrupy in the opening, but not in a bad way necessarily. And you also immediately get this kind of minty cooling feeling right from the get-go as well, which in a way could also make this a very soothing fragrance. It just really grabs your attention. Like, there's something very unique about it, but it's not really pushing the envelope so much. It's really that combination of the mint and the carrot seed, because the carrot seed is very prominent in this. You might not think carrot when you smell it, but there's something just, it grabs your attention and it keeps you wondering, like, what is that note? It almost smells a touch boozy, like kind of like a virgin mojito in a way. Not necessarily alcoholic, but it smells like a drink. Or even like a pisco sour without the sour, if that makes sense. You get this very like leafy cooling sensation that I really like. The dry down on this is really nice as well. Very well done. Has orange and peppermint. It's like a summer cocktail with like herbal nuances. Very refreshing scent in a unique way. If you love mint, you might really love Pacific Chill. So next up we have L'Immensité. I cannot pronounce any of these. So this is going to be another citrus scent. You'll kind of notice that this is a trend of Louis Vuitton fragrances. They're generally very fresh, like citrusy, airy types of scents, which is why it's a little controversial to some people, like wondering, like, is it really worth it? Because some of them don't have the best longevity because, well, I mean, not that many citrus scents on earth do, but this one is a huge competition for imagination. I feel like this is the second one that everyone always like talks about or asks about. They really go head to head, but this one is going to be more aquatic. There's a little bit of a soapy, salty element to this. It has grapefruit and ginger and watery notes with sage, rosemary, geranium, ambroxan, amber, and labdanum. You get this kind of slight barbershop feeling, but also a very soothing scent. You do get this kind of mintiness coming from the geranium. It smells clean, like fresh out of the shower. A very sexy man scent. It does smell very unoriginal, I will say, but it is very well done. If you like things in that kind of like barbershop category, you'll really like this. Like, you can tell that the quality is really high, but it's not really that original. It's kind of like, to me, if Acquanujo and Vibrato had a baby, it would smell something like this. Very easy to wear day to day, office, date night. You're gonna smell good. Very sexy, classic on a man, but nothing original. But worth the sample if you like barbershop fragrances. Okay, next, we're going to talk about one from the Oud collection, Ombre Nomade, another super hyped up fragrance from the brand. And I kind of thought that this one was a little overhyped before I complimented someone wearing this unknowingly. Last time I got my hair cut, my hairdresser was wearing it. I was like, oh, you smell great. And he's like, It's Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomade. I'm like, oh, all right. So this is going to be a very resinous, incensey rose oud with raspberry, saffron, benzoin, Persian geranium, and incense. So sexy and alluring. You get this resinous sweetness that balances really well with that mintiness from geranium. That's another thing that we see in Louis Vuitton fragrances. They have a lot of geranium mixed in here. Like all of them have this kind of like soothing DNA about them, mixed with this very fruity raspberry. It smells very exotic, but it's been copied over and over. I think that the original, of course, is the best. You can't copy the quality of these oils, but it just doesn't smell very unique to me. If I had to pick any of them to buy from the oud collection, it would be Fleur du Désert. That's gonna be my next buy from Louis Vuitton, I'm calling it. But it's still really nice, especially on a man. Ombre Nomade. So I want to touch on Afternoon Swim. I don't have a sample of this one, but everyone wants to hear about Afternoon Swim. It is so popular from this brand. I am very familiar with the scent. I've smelled it probably 10 times in my life. Every time I go into Louis Vuitton, I always smell it. But for me, it hasn't been good enough to pick up just because the longevity on it is very, very bad. Very bad for a $320 fragrance, but also the scent, to me, it literally smells like a raspberry lemonade or like a strawberry lemonade. There's some sort of kind of fruity lemonade aspect about it, and it's very like linear in that way. It just smells like lemonade to me, straight up, and very sugary. It's a little bit too sweet for my liking. I really like it, but not enough to buy it. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know that a lot of people really love that one, but for me, it's a little too sweet. The scent it's really nice. I like it. If I had $1 million in my bank account, I'd probably buy it, but I don't think it's worth the money for me. Now this next one, I'm definitely going to butcher the name. Coeur Battant. So this is going to be a very watery floral pear scent with some peachiness and yellow flowers. This has a little bit, just a little bit of this kind of like aldehydic, kind of old school Chanel feel. It smells tropical in that way because of the yellow florals. It's exotic. You get white flowers and some yellow flowers. Also going to be feminine leaning with this watery aspect, but there's just something about it that doesn't smell very original. There's something in this that has this old school feeling. It smells very Chanel No. 5-esque, not totally, but in that realm. It's not my favorite from the house, but I will say that I can see this being one of those scents that in the heat is going to bloom really, really nicely. Like a very sultry summer night type of date scent on a woman, because the yellow florals are beautiful. That ylang ylang is gorgeous. You get this kind of green, spicy patchouli in the base. Airy, sophisticated, tropical, but a little vintage smelling. It would be nice for a vacation or for like an event. So next we have Meteore. Now this one really impressed me. This has got to be the most complex Louis Vuitton fragrance yet. It opens very creamy with something kind of exotic. You get mandarin orange, bergamot, pink pepper, nutmeg, cardamom, and vetiver. Super creamy cardamom with something almost a little date-like, but darker. This is probably the darkest Louis Vuitton that I've talked about so far. It's on the dark side. Don't get me wrong when I say that. It's on the dark side, but it's not dark and heavy. It's just something about the spices. It's a little bit heavier, but there's something here, like a very alluring cardamom, very complex. This is going to be polarizing. This also has this aspect to it that's like a very classic man, a little bit older smelling as well, but kind of ethereal, little aldehydic. But I will say that as it dries, there is something kind of medicinal that comes out that is a little polarizing. It's not necessarily off-putting, but this has got to be the most interesting Louis Vuitton fragrance yet, for sure. It just grabs your attention and really keeps it. I don't think that this one is going to be for everyone. It's peppery, but not too dark. It stays very bright, ethereal, bubbly throughout the life. It's an enigma. Meteore. So next, I want to talk about a fragrance from their feminine collection, City of Stars. And I really love this one. I'm a little biased when it comes to City of Stars. If I had to finish off my Louis Vuitton fragrance collection, I would probably get Fleur du Desert, and City of Stars, and call it a day. Those are the best for me. This is going to be a very powdery, tropical, very citrusy perfume. Super, super, super citrusy in the opening. Like you get this blast of citrus. It's very strong. You get lime, blood orange, lemon, bergamot, tiare flower, musk, and sandalwood. It has this very like tart citrus in the opening that's so strong, but it like as it dries, it becomes so beautiful when it gets to the mid with that tiare flower that comes out even more. This also has a slight kind of like lemonade feel in the opening, but it's nowhere near as sweet as Afternoon Swim. It's a little more tart, mixed with this really nice floral aspect that I really like. Very tropical flower. This is going to be a very, very refreshing scent on like super crazy hot days here in Miami. I think that this is a fragrance that I would get a lot of wear out of actually. And this summer is going to be a hot one. It's simple but very exotic and tropical. It smells like Miami in a bottle, and I really want it. Way better than Afternoon Swim in my opinion, City of Stars. Okay, so the last fragrance that we're going to talk about is going to be Stellar Times. And this is a part of the Les Extraits collection. This is in collaboration with the architect Frank Gehry, and it comes with a very like interesting, unique metal cap I'm not really the biggest fan of. If I had $500 and whatever to spend on a fragrance, the cap would stop me from wanting to buy it, regardless of how good this scent is, because it's not really my personal taste, but to each their own. But the fragrance, oh my gosh, Stellar Times. It's a very simple scent. Like, it's the theme of Louis Vuitton. None of their fragrances are going to be crazy out there. They're all very simple, but very high quality scents. And they're generally all going to be very fresh, kind of summer, like summer for life types of scents. This has orange blossom and amber with some woody notes. It kind of has this very slight oriental style that's really nice. Something a little funky as well. There's something a little animalic here, but in a very like primal, sensual way. It doesn't necessarily jump out at you as being like animalic. It doesn't smell like pissy or anything like that. It's just like a little funk that's actually done very, very well. It's kind of like an equal execution of each note. It's all equal in this. Nothing really overpowers the other. And this one blooms on the skin. It's really beautiful on the skin. Never in my life would I buy from this collection. I mean, never say never, but most likely never going to buy anything from this just because I don't like the cap and I think it's way overpriced, starting at around $560. The scent is incredible, but that's a bit excessive. So the question is it worth it? I do think that there are many scents that are actually worth the very high price tag, insane price tag, but you can tell that these are very high quality fragrances. They do not smell cheap at all. I think that the best for me are going to be Imagination, Attrape-Reves, Fleur du Desert, and City of Stars. I think that if I had those four, I would feel complete. So there are definitely fragrances from Louis Vuitton that are worth the hype. There's a reason that everyone is freaking out about them, and it's definitely worth trying out. So definitely get a sample set. Just go into any store, they're very nice. They will give you whatever samples you're interested in, because these are very pricey fragrances and they are impossible to get at a discount. They're never discounted, but the quality is definitely here. Very well done perfumes, and if you find yourself in a mood to treat yourself, it's a special occasion. It's a great gift to yourself, I think. So guys, that was just my buying guide of some popular Louis Vuitton fragrances. Leave a comment below what you think about Louis Vuitton. Is it worth the money? What is your favorite from the house? I would love to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.